for it to take hold and it can't be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
We already at what we call event horizon. Ain't no turning back from here. It's like a game of chess, and we playing the last 8 moves out, and you know you can't escape the checkmate. They already been checkmated, and they know it, so they just want to make it take as long as they can.
That's a good a metaphor you brought about the chess game too, which brings me with to Messiah, Naya El Mahdi, reaching out here and getting everybody on this vibration that we call Nuwapi, you know, and that goes into the calibration. I wanted to show a few more herbs and vitamins, everybody's the ideal, but I do know that all of this stuff is set up on the galactic clock, and then
Forcing of the mind to expand. Forcing the mind to expand so you can think on higher levels of consciousness. Then you can activate your spirit body on higher levels of awareness, which is less dense than the 3D world.
Okay,
So when you strengthen your spirit body, it's the same strengthen your astral body.
Mm-hmm.
So we use the spiritual training, the rituals. That's just to get your psychic awareness to a pattern. Because once you get the pattern activated, you don't gotta do that ritual no more. Right? You're doing the ritual. Sometimes you do it to harness energy. Yeah. But when you first start teaching the spirit science of rituals, all it is training you how to become aware of certain things that you wouldn't normally pay attention to. So it's taking the monkey mind, instead of letting it just do its thing, it's taking control of that motherfucker. Say, hey, pay attention. Focus. That's what the spiritual development is. When you start training the mind to focus on ideas, concepts, the bigger the idea conglomerate that you force the mind to examine, once you bend that motherfucker out of shape, it can't go back to what it used to be. That's why they say, once you learn that shit, you can't unlearn it. Mm-hmm. So now you're building up your spiritual abilities as well, and that's a side effect of building the spirit body. We call these psychic abilities, psychic awareness, psychic talents, psychic gifts. What you was describing earlier, driving down the street and you operating a whole nother body, that's control remote viewing all day long. That's control remote viewing to the letter. Just how that's described, once you can put yourself in that altered state of mind, you can go to examine anything you want to, but you're going to always be looking through somebody's eyes.
Mm. It's deep. It's deep.
Right. So you're teaching the mind how to perceive distant phenomena without the aid of the optic nerve.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
you're developing clairvoyance. And when you do that, though, if you have any other psychic innate ability or dormant or atrophied ability, you begin, when you start building your spirit body, all of them begin to reactivate. The more you train them, the stronger they get. And then you start understanding, when you get to the God mind, you have what you call a point of indifference. That indifference is what keeps you from taking sides with the right or the left.
Right. Neutral.
Right.
Neutral.
Right. And that's what my father say. The man's supposed to move straight. Straight. He ain't supposed to do all that old funny, wishy-washy, turny round, curvy shit. Man supposed to move straight.
Yep.
So when he's telling the child that, the child becomes focused in his mind that a man supposed to move straight. It's teaching him to focus the mind on the goal at hand and get the motherfucking job done and fuck what the motherfucking naysayers are saying. Right? Move straight. It's training the mind. Right? My mama said that you have to also not neglect the heart, because you got to treat people the way you want to be treated, and you can't throw people away like trash. You can't look down on nobody for their struggles because you were struggling one time and people look down on you. You don't want to be like the people that look down on you while you were struggling, So don't look down on nobody else while they struggling.
Thanks.
You know. So these become the lessons that formulate the spiritual development as I go through my religious training in schools of thought, following the path of the priesthood. Right?
Right.
Because I was going to be a doctor, but when I caught my case, the only doctor position was a witch doctor, so I took that.
So it's on point, like real talk. Cause man, everything is facts that you just said. G. I'm talking about all the way down from the hologram to even building an astral body. I would have thought I gave you a consultation. You feel me, Joe? Because like it's like some of the same shit. Like that's how you know this is right knowledge and understanding without all the extra pseudoscience. You feel me? Because if you apply this wisdom, you will see results. You feel me, Joe? So I know we got 65 viewers. I know half of the viewers just listen to this type of shit for entertainment, but there's some reflections out there that's actually applying the knowledge. And if you apply the knowledge, you will see results, man. This why I say this is right knowledge and understanding. This ain't that pseudoscience that them niggas be teaching. They gonna talk about shit all day, but if you actually try to do what they say do, you ain't gonna see no results.
Hey, look, I found a lady when I was looking for my curriculum. I was researching my curriculum for the training center for the children, right?
Right.
I found a lady over in Europe. I think she's from India. She teaches the children how to read without using their eyes. They be blindfolded.
Damn.
She teach them how to see. So this is gonna be part of the curriculum. Remember when I was talking about your airbending?
Yeah, yup.
And I was saying that's the type of stuff we be teaching in the training center.
Yeah, yup.
Right. Now the training center is gonna be under the sisters that's running the doula center.
Okay.
Right. And their job is to evaluate the child to determine what path the child want to take as his best life scenario.
Dope.
And then whatever it is to the child, give him every resource that you can conceive of to make him a success.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the educational system. Teaching our kids how to be slaves. I don't think that should be.
I tell people all the time, like, man, I wasn't sent here to be, you feel me, to graduate from somebody's college. I wasn't sent here, you feel me, to be somebody's rapper or be a basketball player. I was sent here for a divine purpose, you feel me, Joe? And maybe some other people's purpose to, you feel me, go to college and get all these certificates and, you feel me, credentials, you feel me, so to speak. But it's like, yo, like the shit that they teaching us, you feel me, is bullshit. You feel me? And then it's all a fucking scam anyway. It's a part of, you feel me, the cities. The cities, I identify Babylon as the cities that were built after colonization. Now, you feel me? You got colonizers, move to these new lands. You got indigenous people. Yeah.
I got a video on Facebook called Babylon Fell in Real Time, and y'all wasn't looking.
Well, let me hear about it. You gotta go in. I'm gonna check it out, though. I ain't even add you on Facebook. I'm definitely gonna add you though.
Hey, look. So the thing was this: at the time, I was exercising my birthright to close out all of the contracts of the foreign corporations, right?
Right.
And I was letting everybody know what I was doing while I was doing it.
Okay.
So I was telling them, Babylon fell, motherfuckers. Y'all wake up. It's wake up time now. I didn't took all their motherfucking juice.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right? The only thing I didn't know back then that I know now, it took a long time to switch a government over.
It do. But you think it can be done?
It's being done in the process. It's almost done.
What, taking the government over?
Yeah. Changing it over. Not the takeover happened in 2019. This is changing over process. Remember, continuity of government. Remember, the chiefs of the land. We served a collective eviction on the legal fiction. When I came and showed the jurisdictional override for the land, then the elders began to assemble, right? And any of the elders that had not yet been assembled, I had to find them, and then I had to put it in the public domain, which elders need to be at the transition. That's what the whole Free Larry Hoover thing was about. Bring us out of Shakur home. They thawed out Tukey. I thought he was dead. And then I found out he was in cryostasis.
Damn, he's still alive?
Yeah, he was froze. He let them motherfuckers freeze him. Man, don't you know I'm not gonna let them motherfuckers freeze me?
Hey, hold on. So that shit really worked though. You feel me? You can freeze a motherfucker
Look,
and
that's
thaw him
ancient
out.
technology, dog. That's not new.
So look though, and it makes sense because this is why a lot of like new bacterias and
That was dormant for millions of years in the ice.
yeah, so and even certain animals, you feel me? An animal can be thrown out. You feel me? An ancient mammoth or some shit. Oh, fucked up.
You know, they found complete enough genes to clone a mammoth already from a frozen mammoth. So look, they got frogs that freeze all winter and thaw out in the springtime. That's the tech. That's where they rediscovered the technology, because they was reading about the technology in ancient texts, right? And they couldn't understand why they couldn't make it work. This was back in the 20s and 30s, right? They couldn't understand why every time they thaw somebody out, frostbite or the crystallization of the cells keep happening.
Right.
When one of the ancient texts told them to study the frog. And so when they were studying the frog, they found that he releases a chemical in his blood that allows him to go into cryostasis, be froze, and then reanimate in the spring of the year like nothing happened. They learned how to put the chemical into the body, then freeze the body, so when it's time to thaw out, it's just like throwing that frog out.
Exactly.
It's a couple of side effects, like Tukey hair fell out. You remember when Kanye had his hair cut with all of the patches and shit? All of the OGs cut their hair because Tukey hair fell out. So it was a show of solidarity.
Damn. So
Malachi York did.
Oh yeah, I heard he did too. I ain't seen no recent pictures of him.
That was because Tukey hair fell out. This is this year. When Kanye had the
patch, yeah.
Remember when he was walking around with the boots, big old winter boots on and shit?
Yeah,
he was telling me, listen, he was telling us that Tukey is going through cold spells from being froze. He cold. He walking around and motherfucking in the airplane hangar in the desert, and he got this big ass fucking winter gear on because he's having chills.
That nigga cold as fuck, yeah.
Look, and then another side effect he had when they thaw him out, the acceleration of the metabolism in the process burnt the fat off his muscles, so the nigga was extra ripped.
Who, Tukey?
Yeah.
Man, hey, that's crazy, Joe. Man, and it's deep because a lot of motherfuckers, man, still living like, especially like Osama bin Laden, Joe, and Saddam Hussein. You know them motherfuckers still alive, Joe.
Man, they ain't killed no. Look, they chasing the motherfucker around in the Afghanistan caves for 5 years. That's on a goddamn dialysis machine. Okay, now listen. Now they expect us to believe this story.
Right.
They expect us to believe this. He's walking around in the caves with a portable dialysis machine.
Facts.
A portable dialysis machine is like dragging a whole stove around with you.
Real talk.
People not paying that no attention.
And then, like, you know, shit, that nigga was a billionaire. Like, you see, not a millionaire, a billionaire. His family was rich and everything.
If you go back and do the research, the Bush family and the Bin Laden family has been in the oil business together since the 40s and 50s. And the Bin Laden family, Osama bin Laden was the boogeyman that they wanted everybody to look to when they was robbing us.
Right. Try to put it off on him.
Right. See, the corporation ended in 1999. but didn't nobody have the jurisdiction to process it. Because didn't nobody organize the chiefs on the land by public notice until I did it. That's why it was so important to learn civics, to understand how to do public notices and shit, so that you know how the oral tradition override they written shit. Because the oral tradition is our agreements on the land is how we practice our law.
Right.
Right. So my clan, we follow the laws set forth by Larry Hoover and them back in the day. Right. So now they gave us a written code to follow. But our written code has nothing to do with the government. It's tribal. Whereas on the West Coast, they got an oral tradition. The OGs have to clear it before the YGs engage in the activity.
Right.
Now, I have to be in tune with the Crips, just like I'm in tune with the folks in Chicago, to understand how the tribes are communicating so we can get the message through all the tribal networks. We're on the same page now. Time to
Right.
get the imposters up.
Right. And I'll be seeing that shit in the West Coast and in the East Coast, even down south, you feel me, about, you know, GDs, Bloods and Crips, you feel me, peace treaties, and that shit actually working. But in Chicago, it ain't gonna never be no, like, it ain't gonna never be no peace amongst like the GDs and the BDs. It ain't like, it's different in Chicago, but it's like everywhere else they can come
It
together.
will be.
I
It
don't
will
think
be.
so, bro.
It will be.
Unfortunately,
But it's going, listen what
Got
it
a
tells me.
Chicago got a dark cloud over it, and
Right.
that's
But
like
when they find out who behind the cause in the war, it ain't even us.
it ain't, but it's like, you're right, it ain't us, but it's like, you know, it's levels of hell. You feel me? Just like it's hierarchies of hell, like hierarchies of demon, different ranks of angels. You got different levels of hell. This earth is a fucking hell. You feel me? This continent is a different level of hell. The states now,
I think this shit heavy.
the city of Chicago, that's like the lower levels of hell, G, like for real. And it's not because of us, like you said. It's because the devils that created the cities, which is a Babylon. You feel me? It's because of
They
them.
took over the cities. They didn't create them. Those are metropolises that's ancient. They just altered. They just altered the way
right.
that we did business on the land.
So from my understanding, you know, that's why I call it Babylon, because of Babylon is the cities that were built after colonization. So like you got
You ain't got no
colonizers.
problem. I ain't got no problem with that. But Babylon fell.
Babylon, man, bro. I don't think Babylon fell as long as the city's being built. You have city owners.
You're not
You have.
watching. Chief, you're not watching.
I really I pay it. I don't really be like, nah. I'll be I'll be behind on a lot of shit,
Look,
bro.
the banks is closing. The hospitals are shutting down their electronics that affects the equipment and the IT shit. Right? You got a motherfucking receiving tide that been out for goddamn 3 days in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that now.
Mm-hmm.
That shit got to come back. The longer it's out, the worse it's gonna be when it returns. Because
I
the
would
water,
say
it
like
got to go somewhere. It ain't just disappeared.
it do. I would say like, okay, so like you got colonizers. Colonizers come to foreign lands, and then you have people, natural people that's live inside of those lands that take care of nature. The colonizers come through, they tear down nature, and then build their cities up. North America, this continent was a forest. We had forests and woods over here. We didn't have jungles. You feel me?
Look,
But it was all nature. The colonizer come through, tear down nature, and build their cities up. Along with their cities, they bring systems, which is religion, slave system, which is the modern day work system. They bring all nationality, because the colonizers put nationality on, not, you already know, bro, put nationalities on our indigenous ancestors. But this what I'm saying, like Babylon's is anything that's not dealing with the natural people and in the natural order of life. There's no way we should be working jobs. There's no way there's only 13 families that hold all the wealth, and we have poor people. Like mental illness don't exist in nature. Like indigenous people don't have mental illness problems. Poverty don't exist in nature. You feel me? You know, there may be a class ranking system, but it's like I'm talking about the indigenous people that's the closest to nature. You know how close they is to nature if they don't speak in language and they still speaking in sounds and clicks. These are like natural people. They will be the closest to Big Mama, if anything. So it's like, since we got cities that's
Um, is what over, Angelo? I just got on here. Why was I the only one? I already told you that answer, kid. I'm the only one did the work. So the women is the only ones that can push the envelope. Because they don't think that none of the women is going to step up and be like, fuck that. Don't wait on the motherfuckers. I'll go first. They don't think y'all do that. And they think that if it do, I'm only going to get like 5 or 6 of them. They don't think y'all don't recognize this shit for what it is. As long as we've been praying for this shit, y'all don't recognize it for what it is. Get the fuck out of here with that dumbass shit. So, Portia, as we went over on the video that Queen made me do last night out of nowhere, is I placed her in charge of collecting the information or passing out the information to the women because of several factors: sincerity, diligence, and what you call commonality or mutual contact. I stay in touch with her a lot. She do a lot of research and we share information, and she the one that fit the profile I was given for the one who sends out the information. I was given a profile I had to match, and she matched. So I asked her to lead the dissemination of the information to the women so they know how this shit supposed to be broke. All the guys had to do is, like, for instance, if your girl got a Facebook page or something like that, have her, all she got to do is contact Portia. She going to tell her exactly what to do. This shit ain't hard. Y'all want out of this shit, I get y'all the fuck out. If y'all don't want out of this shit, I get me the fuck out. Because I can leave by myself. I don't got to take a motherfucker with. I can rebuild all this shit over again like I did several times before. These motherfuckers got so mad at me, they blew the whole goddamn galaxy out of position. Think about that. Trying to stop me, they blew the whole galaxy out of position. Fucking with my mama. Fucking with my mama. You think I'm not gonna motherfucking bring the heat behind no shit like that? And so anyway, it worked like this. Remember yesterday I talked about the stone being hewn from the mountain without hands. Well, I'm the stone. The mountain that I was hewn from, the fair mountain, fair as in beautiful, as in Sun Wukong was cut from a mountain of flowers, or flower mountain, or the beautiful mountain. So it was on top of Fairmount. It was on top of the Fairmount where I made the oath and the agreement in order for me to receive what I needed to get past it. So it's just like on Jason Bourne when they make the blood oath. When you're in a position where you got to make an oath, in order to get you free, you bound to that person until the oath is satisfied. But when the person refuses to acknowledge that the oath even exists, it can be picked up by another person who will acknowledge the oath and will declare themselves worthy and will lay their stuff out like this. So now, I'm going to go over to oath to you and how it works. So first on the Fairmount, we had to make the agreement that she would be in the judgment seat. She had to meet certain standard. Nothing can't be secret. She can't keep shit secret from me. She got to lay it all out. So on Fairmount, she laid it all out. Her struggles and her ambitions. But she didn't tell me the price she paid yet. Now, the Fairmount ended up rolling down the hill and landed on Strathmore. Now, I'm not going into the science of Strathmore right now because it's just going to sidetrack us because I have to go into the Book of Life and find where I did the science on that. But as after we got to Strathmore, before she made the next move, we walked down Price, and she told me the price she paid. Now, this is how I knew what was taking place. When we were walking from the store coming down Columbia. Now, the significance of Columbia is it's the street that I grew up on, is the first one. The second significance of Columbia is it's associated with Christopher Columbus, which is part of the Moorish assault that tells us how we got into condition. So we left from Columbia, where the mine trap was initiated under Columbus. But in order for the final seal to be placed, now I need to know what her suffering was. What was the struggles that you went through? And she laid them all out. And she told me the prophecy on her life, and it exactly matched the prophecy I had on mine. And I had to follow those steps. Now, after that, not too long thereafter, now I told you my curse was unrequited love. All I have to do to ruin the relationship is tell somebody I love them, and it was over before I broke the curse. Now, watch what happened. I was sitting in my car one day, and I didn't want to do it to the point where the tears started running down my face, and then I had to tell her, because I know I got to set the next chain of events into motion. And so I said, you know what? I know I'm not supposed to tell you this, but you don't know how much I love and appreciate you. No response. Unnatural. Not normal. No response to it. Not natural, not normal. That means that she got to fucking know what I know. Now we about to get serious into the price that's got to be paid now. Because now this shit about to come to an end. It's not about the if, it's about the how and the when. So that shit came to an end. And it's in my book of life, how it worked. Only thing I got left in that book of life now is I got to go to the African Congo. She wasn't supposed to, India. This is part of a master raising or doing a part for the master to raise a self. The person was instructed by their instructor that if I ever said that, don't respond. They also was given other instructions that unfolded to me over time because I was able to see them. Now, what was the first contact that I knew that this one right here would be exposed to the judgment seat? It starts with a whisper. Go back to your Genesis story, and the serpent whispered in Eve's ear. It started with the whisper. So from the whisper, I got to whisper a phrase in her ear. Right? Now, what do that mean? In the secret societies, it say, to tell it toe to toe, chest to chest, shoulder to shoulder, mouth to ear. I called her out of the rank and the file to ask her for the judgment by whispering in her ear. Right? She go back and disappear. I don't know what happened to her for a period of time. And then I get a call that she stepped on a nail. Yes, from mouth to ear, India. From mouth to ear. But I like the way you put it, from ear to mouth, because that's an eargasm if I ever heard one. Okay, so now she stepped on the nail. And this is my friend, and I care about him. It might be for a reason. I have to analyze it later. So I go check on my friend who stepped on the nail. Remember the crucifixion. Remember that the Christ was nailed in the feet. Right? We ain't gonna get too much into that. Just remember that. Because in a minute I'm gonna show y'all something when I go through this book of life. Nobody book of life look like my shit. My shit a bad motherfucker. My shit a bad motherfucker. I gotta admit it. I'm a bad motherfucker even when I ain't trying to be. I was just trying to answer a simple question. Alright. So now, I'm gonna flip this again. So I'm gonna show y'all some stuff. I'm looking through my book of life for a particular picture. By the way, had I not been able to read this shit, I'd either be dead in the penitentiary right now over the last 3 months. Trying to get that nigga out the way. You motherfuckers will never, ever outdo me on this shit. I'm genetically engineered to be the baddest motherfucker ever born. I gotta show y'all this picture. Because there's a reason. There's a reason for shit to happen the way it happened. Now remember, y'all been watching the Sphinx sleep. When it wake up, it becomes a griffin. The woman transformed into the bald-headed eagle. The bald eagle is for a reason. This is to indicate America. That ain't what I wanted to show y'all. Remember I told you? Scorpio, Leo, Saturn, and the heart, represented by the sun. Leo is controlled by the sun. So Leo controls the heart energy. You see how I go from here? Mercury. Scorpio is ruled by Mercury and by Pluto, which doesn't show up on here. So the Scorpio, now watch the lines. You raise up to the place of the union, then she give me the ball, and I give her the ball. Now we got to get up here to Mars. So then you got Jupiter, the gift giver. Now notice where the gift giver is under Leo. Jupiter is the gift giver, bringer of gifts. Saturn is the restrictor. Mars is the warrior. Venus is the lover. Mercury is the messenger of God. Venus is the bright morning star. The only two stars you can see early in the morning is Venus and Mercury.